Hey guys, May 24th. Want to go over a Beyond Meat reading the tape session. So on I think May 5th, Beyond Meat had earnings or some other news catalyst here that gapped it up all the way from 100 all the way up to 126, and in the morning it looked really weak, and I took a short that was around 125 all the way down to 117, something like that. And then I noticed that there was a change of characteristics that would signify this next push here. So you can see that they made March lows in at 48.18, and then it's been kind of stair stepping up. And you notice that they made a high here at $117, and then it retraced. And this news catalyst here propelled it right through that level, and then it came back and tested that same level on this day. And you can notice that there was a seller that was looking to take some profit, and eventually once his lots were bought up, there was no more heavy selling resistance, which seemed to cause the next move. So let's look at it. So in the morning, again, if you look at the 30-minute, you can see that there was a big red bar in the pre-market, and then it bounced, but it was still holding kind of below VWAP for most of the time until this one pop about 15 minutes before the open. But right at the open, it just went kaboom, and that's where I kind of got short and scaled into this. And then I tried a reversal off of that 117 level, but I kind of panicked out, I feel. Besides that, you notice that it was just basically bouncing between VWAP and 117. So at this point here in time, you're thinking, well, maybe this is not a bad spot to get short. You risk up to 120, 150, and you're looking for 117 or even a break of 117. So buyers, you would think, would be buying at 117. Sellers are thinking in this current period to sell around VWAP, and you can see that it's slowly kind of stepping down. So maybe this is a bear flag, right? You have a kind of a bear flag form, and maybe it goes. But so let's watch the tape here. So you notice here that nothing's really happening. The volume's declining. You got a big spike here at 117, so that kind of shows them, oh, maybe there are some buyers. And then all of a sudden, there's a big print at 120 here. Boom. And now everybody's kind of like, oh, I want to get out before this guy gets out, because he might walk this stock down a pretty good chunk. We don't know how much he's selling. So that's the big that's something that you kind of look for, is big orders on the bid and ask to see, oh, what can I do to come up with a even a scalp trade or a long-term trade. What is going on? So right now I'm thinking is, whoa, this, if I was doing a scalp, it was like, ooh, this guy just kind of gave me a buffer. Like, why don't I just get short, and if he gets taken, then I stop out, and let's just ride him down and see how far he wants to go. That is something that you could do as a trade. And you'd be thinking, well, I could probably get to this 117 at least, hopefully, so risking maybe 50 cents to get a couple bucks, that's not a bad trade. So we're going to keep going here, and you noticed that now this guy, after he put the 120 bid in, ask in right here, and it boom dropped, right, and then he lowered it. I don't have the footage, but he lowered it to here, and then eventually this sell-off happened, And then you can see now he's now at 119, right? So now he just lowered it a buck. He wants out. He's not waiting it to let it come to him. He wants out now. So he's not caring about price anymore. So my thought is, what happens if this guy gets filled? What's going to happen? Is it going to start reversing? So that's kind of the, what I'm watching. And so if we keep going here, now a couple minutes later past that point, so we were looking back over here on this, and this is a 1 minute chart on BYND, that there was some shares, about 300 or so, that was already taken, and he hasn't refilled or made it back to 915 or whatever it was. This is like he's doing almost like, this is my final, take profit, and I just want this, and then maybe rebalancing a fund, or just taking profit, and he's happy. So he's not re-upping it or anything. So what happens when this thing breaks, right? So we're gonna look here, and boom. And I apologize, I didn't catch the exact moment here. I was just bouncing between stocks of when this got bought up, but you can see as soon as that his share size got bought up, and that's this representation of big volume, boom, it has a move, right? And now you're if you're watching that moment where it's kind of like just coiling here, and it's not really going down, and he's slowly losing, his shares are getting bought up, and then boom, his shares get bought up. That's like a momentum. As soon as you see, it goes from 598 to 550 to 400 to 300 to 200, you might want to hit the ass there to buy shares and take a momentum swing at this to try and get, maybe back to VWAP or something. And you're basically risking, like, it better work immediately. If it doesn't break this guy's thing, then I want to get out immediately. So your risk is basically, nothing versus trying to get a couple bucks. And maybe this, in fact, will reverse on the whole day and break VWAP. So let's look at the last little clip here. Is yes, so later in the day, so this is where it broke out, and it started, kind of doing a little mini short-term trend, and going above VWAP, and eventually it closed the day, I think, around this 122 level. So this is the inflection point, basically showing that this is where the trend kind of changed. And if you look at the next day on our chart here, it was a big explosion day, and it came down to 119-ish, so right around the level where that guy was holding previously. It came down and tapped, and boom, and look at that, from 119 all the way 147. So, just reading the level 2 and the time and sales could just give you that knowledge of maybe this is going to be, profit taking's over, and now this stock is ready for the next move. So this is something to think about. All right, thanks for listening, guys. See ya.